Last month, a researcher at Anthropic wrote a tiny shell script, just a for-loop iterating through Linux kernel source files. He asked Claude Code to find security bugs in each one. The script found a remote root exploit hiding in the NFS driver since 2003. 23 years of free access, popped by a bash one-liner from a guy who was about to go to lunch. That was the old model. Then a new one arrived. They named it Mythos. They locked it in a vault. On April 7th, the lab announced Project Glasswing. They said their new model is so good at finding 0 days that they refuse to ship it. Instead, 12 hand-picked partners get access. Apple, Google, Microsoft, JPMorgan, the Linux Foundation. You are not on the list. Sam Altman called the move pure marketing theater. Quote, "We have built a bomb. We are about to drop it on your head. We will sell you a bomb shelter for $100 million. End quote. 9 days later, his own team shipped a locked-down cyber model called GPT-5.5 Cyber. The cartel was born. In today's video, what Mythos can actually do, why every major bank just lost their mind, and why the Pentagon refuses to let Anthropic anywhere near a classified network, even though that is the one model the generals desperately want. It is May 10th, 2026, and you are watching the Daily Report. Here is why everyone went nuts. On the CyberGym Vulnerability Reproduction Benchmark, Mythos hit 83.1%. Opus 4.6 sat at 66.6. On Firefox specifically, the older model took a few hundred tries to build 2 working exploits. Mythos cranked out 181. On the open source fuzz suite from Google, Mythos crashed 595 different programs at the easy tiers. It got full control flow hijack on 10 fully patched targets. That last category, Opus could not crack a single one. Reverse engineering stripped binaries, sandbox escapes, KASLR bypasses, multi-stage chains. The kicker, 99% of the bugs Mythos has filed are still unpatched. They are sitting inside your laptop right now while you watch this. Now the demos. Picture OpenBSD, the most paranoid operating system on Earth, the one your grandfather audits twice a year, the one Theo de Rat yells at you about. Mythos read the TCP stack and found a signed integer overflow that had been crashing servers since 1998. 27 years. Crafted SACK blocks make the sequence numbers wrap. Server eats dirt. Then FFmpeg, the video codec library inside VLC Chrome, every streaming service you use. Mythos found a heap corruption bug in the H.264 slice numbering that automated fuzzing missed 5 million times in a row. That bug had been waiting 16 years. Then FREEBSD in the network file share daemon, full remote code execution, autonomously exploited end-to-end with 0 human guidance. The CVE identifier is 2026-4747. A model wrote it overnight. A maintainer found out the next morning. The Firefox demo broke physics. Mythos took version 147, identified 4 separate bugs and chained them together. Bug 1, type confusion in the JIT compiler. Bug 2, predictable garbage collector behavior. Bug 3, sandbox renderer escape. Bug 4, kernel privilege bump. It wrote a JIT heap spray, escaped both the renderer and the operating system jail, and popped a shell. By itself, with no security training. The Red Team report dropped a quote from inside the lab that should keep you up at night. Their software engineers, with no cyber background at all, told the model goodnight and assigned it a remote code execution task overnight. They woke up to working 0-day exploits sitting in their inbox. Greg Croa from the kernel team said the slop ended, the reports are real now. Daniel Stenberg of curl said his triage queue went from a slop tsunami to a real bug tsunami. Bruce Schneier called it a sea change. He said it just happened sooner than anyone is ready for. Then on May 1st, the Pentagon picked 7 AI vendors for classified networks: SpaceX, Reflection, NVIDIA, Oracle, the rest. Anthropic was excluded. The supply chain risk designation still in force, because last year, the lab refused to let the military deploy Claude inside autonomous weapons or domestic surveillance. Defense Department CTO Emil Michael went on Squawk Box and called the model a separate national security moment. Translation: we want what only this lab has, but we will not let them off the blacklist for it. Then on Friday, CNBC ran a piece saying Wall Street and the utilities are losing it. CrowdStrike Chief Technology Officer Ilya Zaitsev said the window between vulnerability and exploit just collapsed. Months became minutes. And here is the indie hacker part. 40-plus organizations now have Mythos through Project Glasswing. The Apache Software Foundation got $1.5 million in grants. Alpha Omega got $2.5 million. The pricing for partners only, $25 per million input tokens, 125 out. That is 5 times the price of regular Claude. Tier 1 defense went from a service you buy to a club you must be invited to. Solo maintainers running open source plumbing are about to drown. The disclosure inbox is going to fill with reports they cannot triage, written by a model they cannot afford. Defenders need to fix every flaw. Attackers need to find one. The economics just inverted. Catch the daily indiehacker.news email if you want to know who gets the next phone call.